A new version of Redcore Linux was just released, Redcore Linux 1806. Let's take a look. So, Redcore Linux 1806 was just released yesterday. Taking a look at the Distro Watch announcement, Redcore Linux is a Gentoo-based Linux distribution designed to be easy to set up for desktop use. It ships with the LXQt desktop environment and provides a repository of pre-built binary packages. So it has pre-built binaries rather than you having to compile things from source, which is the standard way of installing packages in mainline Gentoo. So the project's latest snapshot, Redcore Linux 1806, includes many package upgrades from Gentoo along with improvements with the Sisyphus package manager, that is Redcore's package manager. VirtualBox guest modules were dropped from this release, so no more VirtualBox guest editions. There is a new KDE Plasma meta package for people who want to run an alternative desktop environment rather than the LXQt desktop environment. So that is interesting. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the Redcore Linux webpage, redcorelinux.org, and I'll link both the Distro Watch announcement and the Redcore Linux announcement in the show's description. Hey there, Redcore Linux lovers. Once again, it's time for a new release of Redcore Linux, yada yada yada. Let's see, the change log. Some of the highlights would be Linux kernel 4.16.16 hardened is the default kernel. You do have the option of running the LTS kernel. 4.14.50 is available in the repos. Sisyphus package manager got some love. Supercharged database transactions will run 225 faster. Okay. Restricted to binary mode only for better reliability. Okay. Let's see what else. Over 1,000 packages were updated during this cycle. You'll find some of the more notable package updates were Mesa, LLVM, the NVIDIA drivers. Nuvo is still the default choice for those of you running NVIDIA. LibreOffice was upgraded to 6. GIMP was updated to 2.10. All the major web browsers are updated. Firefox, Google Chrome, Vivaldi, Opera, and Falcon are all at their latest versions. The Qt 5 toolkit, of course, was updated. Plasma 5.12, that is the LTS version of Plasma, is now packaged as a meta package and ready to install for those running Redcore that would rather not use the LXQt desktop environment. Up until now, LXQt was the only desktop environment offered by default. In Redcore Linux now, you do have the option of installing Plasma, again, if you choose. Other notable changes in the changelog, of course, the VirtualBox guest editions being dropped. That won't affect most users. It will affect me today because I'm going to take a look at this inside VirtualBox. I'm going to go ahead and download the ISO for Redcore Linux and take a look at this inside a virtual machine. Okay, so I downloaded the ISO. The ISO was 2.2 gigs in size. Here in the boot menu, we have the option of Start Redcore 1806, which should boot us directly into a live environment. We also have Advanced Options, Language Selection, and Keyboard Selection. I'm just going to choose the first option in the boot menu, Start Redcore 1806. And this should, again, take us directly to a live desktop environment. This may take a minute or two to boot us into the live environment. It often takes a little time running off a live medium. This would be the same as booting off a live USB stick or off a live DVD. Got my coffee today. Anytime you are dealing with Linux, especially installing Linux, it's best to have coffee. Of course, that's somewhat of a joke. Linux installs today are so fast. Most Linux installs these days, in my experience, and I've done hundreds of Linux installs since starting this YouTube channel, most of them are done in under 20 minutes. It's crazy how good Linux has gotten with the install process. And Redcore is no exception. I've reviewed Redcore Linux on the channel a number of times. Very fast install process for Redcore. Alright, now Redcore, one of my complaints about it in the past is it does ask for a username and password for the live environment, for the live environment user. If you don't know what this username and password is, it is frustrating. I'll give you a hint though, it is Redcore. You'll find this information on Redcore Linux's website. I've done it enough times now, I actually remember it this time. Redcore. And I say I actually remembered it this time because every other time I've taken a look at it, I've always forgotten what the username and password is, and I have to go to the Redcore Linux website and look it up. It's kind of frustrating. I really wish it would just auto-log in. Most live environments do that. They just auto-log you in as the live user. They don't ask you for a username or password. Alright, and again, with this new release, there is no VirtualBox guest editions installed, at least not on the live medium here. Right here on the desktop, we have Redcore Installer. I'm going to double-click that. When I double-click it, it asks me, do I want to open it, execute in terminal, or cancel? Well, it's not a terminal installer. I've done a few Redcore Linux installs. It's the Calamares installer, so it's a graphical installer. So I'm going to just choose execute. And that should open up the Calamares installer. And it does. Alright, we have our welcome screen. Our language selection, English has been chosen for us. I'm going to click Next. Time zone, it has chosen the Eastern Time Zone in the US. I am in the Central Time Zone in the US. Click Next. English US has been chosen for our keyboard. That's correct. I'm going to click Next. Alright, partitioning. I can choose Erase Disk and let Redcore Linux have the entire 25 gig virtual hard drive I created for this machine, or I can choose manual partitioning and partition the drives myself. I'm going to choose the first option, Erase Disk, and let Redcore do its automatic partitioning. Alright, username. I'm going to create the username DT. We need to create a password for the user DT. I'm going to create a strong and complicated password for security reasons. Alright, do I want to log in automatically without asking for a password? No, I don't like auto-logging in. I like being asked for a password to log into my system for privacy reasons. Do I want to use the same password for the administrator account? So do I want the administrator password the same as my DT user's password? Yes, I do. That way I don't have to remember two different passwords, one for DT and one for the root user. Summary, location, looks good. Keyboard, looks good. The partition scheme, yep, all that looks good. I'm going to click Next. We get a warning. We're about to format the drive and write to the disk. If you click Install Now, this is permanent. You know, it's going to begin installing the system. Alright, and once you get to this portion of the installer, it typically takes, I don't know, somewhere around 5 to 10 minutes for most Linux distributions. If I recall correctly, Redcore takes a little longer than that, but not much. It might take 10 to 15 minutes in my previous experiences with it. So I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back once the installation has been completed. And the install is completed. I will say this portion of the installer completed in about, I don't know, 10 minutes. Once I got to this last portion, it took about 10 minutes to install. That seems a little faster than what I remember in previous versions of Redcore. So the install process, to me, seems a little quicker than what I remember in previous versions. So very, very good, Redcore devs. To complete the installation, of course, you now need to remove the live media. If you're doing on this on physical hardware, you need to remove the USB stick, and then you need to reboot the machine. That's what I'm going to do right now. And I am restarting my freshly installed Redcore Linux. Let's see how long it takes to boot up. Boot up time, very fast. Redcore Linux uses OpenRC for its init system, the same as mainline Gentoo. Username and password here in the login manager. I created the user DT, and I created a very strong and secure password for the user DT. Let me go ahead and log in. Now, I mentioned that I would take the time to maybe go through the VirtualBox Guest Edition installation and try to get a proper screen resolution. I decided against that. I tried very briefly to get the guest editions to work, installed them. They seemed to install properly, but when I rebooted and got to the login manager, the screen was black and there was like some static looking stuff on the screen. You could tell that I broke something trying to install the guest edition, so I removed them. So I'm just going to deal with this screen resolution here without the guest editions installed. This screen resolution appears to be 1024. 1024 is plenty wide enough for me to do a review here. So out of the box, what do I think? This is a little different look and feel to Redcore than some of the previous editions I reviewed in the past. For one thing, where is the blood red, the like vampire blood red wallpapers that we were used to in the previous versions? I guess they got rid of that. And I think that might be a smart choice. Those things were really bright, really gaudy, kind of jarring to look at, those really bright blood red wallpapers. This, of course, is a very, gray, black and gray wallpaper, but, very classy, kind of minimalist. I like it. I'm going to go through the menu here in the LXQt desktop environment, see what is installed by default here in Redcore Linux 1806. Under accessories, we have Arc for our archive manager. This is for zip, unzip, that sort of thing. Let's see, this is Arc 18.4.2. Arc is a standard archive manager in the KDE desktop environment. It's one of the KDE apps. We have Featherpad also listed under accessories. Featherpad is a plain text editor, light, minimal plain text editor. It is based on Qt 5, so it's a Qt app, which makes sense. I would imagine most everything in Redcore is either going to be a Qt app or a KDE app. So probably not going to see any GTK apps. I wouldn't think, or very few. We have the HP Device Manager also under accessories. We have KCalc, which is the standard calculator in KDE. We have KeyPass. We have PCMan-FM File Manager, one of my favorite minimal, lightweight, yet fully functional file managers. This is the Qt version of PCMan-FM, PCMan-FM-Qt. This is version 0.12. Let's close that out. Right, go back to accessories, and we also have Clipper. Clipper is our clipboard that would sit, in our sys tray if I launched it. Standard Qt app. Games, we have Lutris, and then we have Steam. Is Steam already installed, or this launches the installer? Yep. So we have to agree to Steam's terms and conditions. You click I read and accept these terms, hit OK, and Steam should install on your system for you. I'm not going to go through the Steam installer here on this video. Under graphics, we have FontForge. We have GNU Image Manipulation Program. That would be GIMP. Now, GIMP, of course, is a GTK program. GIMP is the original GTK program, but GIMP really should be installed on everybody's machine, regardless of what toolkit you're using, GTK, Qt, what have you. GIMP is our free and open source alternative to something like Adobe Photoshop. One of the real highlights of free and open source software is GIMP. And the version we are on is GIMP 2.10. That is the latest version of GIMP. All right, let me close that out. Also under graphics, we have Inkscape. Inkscape is for scalable vector graphics, where GIMP is for raster graphics. Inkscape is fantastic as well. We have LXimage for an image viewer. We have a screenshot utility. And we have Xsane Scanner tool for scanning documents. Under Internet, we have Falcon. So we have the Falcon browser as our default browser. That is an interesting choice, but it does make sense. Falcon is Qt. It's based on the Qt web engine version 5.9.5. Falcon 3.0.1 is the version number of Falcon. Also under Internet, we have KGet, which is KDE's download manager. We have Conversation with a K, which is KDE's IRC chat client, and by default it looks like it would connect us to the Redcore Linux support channel. So we just hit connect, and very cool. That is great that they have it to auto connect to the Redcore Linux support channel. And let's see if it'll eventually connect us, and it does. So anybody that has problems with their installation with Redcore, you just fire up Conversation, that IRC chat client, and you can go ahead and talk to whoever happens to be hanging out in the Redcore support channels, and hopefully get timely answers to your questions. QBitTorrent is our BitTorrent client. Under Office, we have the entire LibreOffice suite, and this should be LibreOffice 6, and it does appear to be so. And we wait for LibreOffice Writer to launch. That's the program I just launched, and we'll check out the version number. If I go to About LibreOffice, LibreOffice 6.0.5.2, back to the Office category. So LibreOffice, we had Base, Calc, Draw, Impress, Math, and Writer all available. We have Q PDF View, which is a PDF viewer. It's a Qt utility. Under Programming, we have Qt 5 Designer, and we have Sandbox. Under Sound and Video, we have Cantata. Cantata is a MPD audio player. Really neat MPD audio player. I'm not going to go through the trouble of setting it up. It is a Qt app too, so makes sense why that would be included. We have GUVC View for a webcam app. I won't have a webcam in this VM, so there's no point in launching it, but what GUVC View would do, it would put a window on your screen very similar to the window you guys see me speaking in right now. This is my webcam on my host machine. GUVC View would do something very similar to that. K3B is installed. K3B is KDE's disk burning utility. It is probably the best disk burning utility we have in Linux, K3B. It is probably the best free and open source disk burning utility. Under Sound and Video, we have MPV for our media player for playing video. Also under Sound and Video, we have Pulse Audio Volume Control. We have Simple Screen Recorder. Simple Screen Recorder is a really neat utility. It records your desktop. Similar to how I'm recording my desktop right now, Simple Screen Recorder would do that for you. Let me close Simple Screen Recorder. Under Sound and Video, we also have Vid Cutter for a simple and fast FFmpeg-based video cutter and joiner. We have VLC Media Player also installed. VLC is probably the best multimedia player we have in Linux. VLC 3.0.3. Of course, I say VLC is the best media player we have in Linux. VLC is also available on Windows and I believe on Mac as well. But it is free and open source. Let's see, under System Tools, we have About LXQt. So this just gives us a little information about the LXQt desktop environment. An About tab, we have Authors, Thanks, Translation, Technical Info. For those interested in the LXQt project, we have a QEMU for virtualization for a virtual machine program, similar to VirtualBox, which I'm running today to do this review. HTOP is also installed. HTOP is our interactive process viewer. It is a system monitor, if you will. And let's check this out. I'm going to let things settle down for a second, and let's see what kind of CPU and memory usage we're using. Okay, CPU, very light, as expected, 3%, 4%, somewhere around there, of the 2 cores of my 6-core CPU that I gave this VM. I gave this VM 4 gigs of RAM. The LXQt desktop environment is only using 349 megs of RAM at the moment. Very, very lightweight. And the LXQt desktop environment is a full desktop environment. It's not, window manager only. I mean, it has menus and panels, sys tray, notifications, and to be using about 350 megs of memory, very, very lightweight desktop environment. Also under System Tools, we have K3B again. We have the KDE CDE MU Manager. That's a front end to CDE MU. KDE's Partition Manager, which is a really nice partition manager. For those of you familiar with something like gparted, this is basically KDE's version of that particular partition manager. It's not their version of that. It's just an alternative to something like gparted. Really nice, though. Also under System Tools, we have our Manage Printing. We have NM Tray, which is the network manager down here in the sys tray. We have Qt Terminal, which is our default terminal emulator. Really nice, lightweight terminal, but fully functional. I didn't want to get information about Qt. I wanted information about the Qt Terminal. There it is. A lightweight multi-platform terminal emulator. This is Qt Terminal 0.7.1. We'll close that. Also under System Tools, we have the Sisyphus GUI. Sisyphus is Redcore's package manager. Sisyphus is a front end to Emerge. Emerge is, of course, Gentoo's package manager. So, of course, to do anything package management related, you have to enter your root password. And this is the GUI, the Graphical User Interface for Sisyphus. If we wanted to install something that was not already installed by default, well, first, we have to make sure it's in the repos. Not everything that you're used to on things like, Debian or Arch or mainline Gentoo are going to be available in Redcore, so we have to take that into consideration. So I'll pick something that I would expect them to have packaged. Firefox. Firefox is here. Do I want to install it? Sure, why not? So if I highlight it, what button do I click on to install? Let's see, right here, install package. If I click on that, and this will be interesting too to see how long it takes to install Firefox. Firefox is not a small program, so I would be interested in how fast the mirrors for Redcore are. I'm not exactly sure how many mirrors they have now. I know when I initially reviewed Redcore for the very first time on this channel, they only had 1 or 2 mirrors. That's it. I think the last time I reviewed them, they were up to 3 mirrors. So they are adding mirrors, but that is one of the problems sometimes with these smaller distros is they just don't have enough mirrors, and sometimes it takes forever to install a package. But it looks like it's pulling down Firefox pretty fast. I mean, we've already downloaded 11%, 12%, 13%. It's going okay. So this isn't too bad. I think the very first time I looked at Redcore, I think I tried to install maybe Firefox or some other similar size program, and it took, a few minutes, and that can be kind of off-putting. You don't want to wait all day for programs to install. Certainly you don't want to do a system update and wait, a couple of hours for a full update of your system. But this is going pretty fast. I'll pause the video. I'll be back once this is done. This will take probably about another minute. Okay, well, it looks like it's almost done with Firefox. It took, I don't know, a minute, maybe a minute and a half for it to download Firefox. Now it's emerging Firefox, so it just should be a few more seconds. And it looks like it's going to install the latest Firefox 61.0. I'm not sure if that's the absolute freshest version of Firefox, but it's pretty close. Version 61 hasn't been out long. I don't think they're on 62 yet. And we wait. Of course, this was the Sisyphus GUI front end. The graphical user interface Sisyphus can also be used as a command line interface, and we may open a terminal and play around with Sisyphus in the command line. Okay. This is taking a minute to install. I really thought the install would go pretty quick after the download. You expect the download to take a long time, but once it's actually on your machine and you're emerging it, you would expect it to go a little quicker than that, but it's done. Alright, so let me close that out. Speaking of Sisyphus, that is an interesting name. So, just doing a quick search in Wikipedia, Sisyphus is a character from Greek mythology. He was the king of Ephyra, which is now known as Corinth. He was punished for his self-aggrandizing craftiness and deceitfulness by being forced to roll an immense boulder up a hill, only for it to constantly roll down when it neared the top, and thus being forced to repeat this action over and over again for eternity. So, not familiar with that character in Greek mythology, but that is interesting. So Sisyphus from Greek mythology. I'm not sure how that applies to the package manager as far as why they named it after that Greek mythology character. But Sisyphus is the package manager used in Redcore. In essence, Sisyphus is a simple wrapper around Portage, Gentoo-kit, and Portage utils that provides an apt-get, yum-like interface to these commands. So it's basically a simpler way to install and remove packages in the command line than emerge. Emerge, some of the commands are, kind of verbose, kind of long, kind of complicated, don't make a lot of sense. For example, let me pull up a terminal. I wonder if Control-Alt-T pulls up a terminal. Yes, it does. Redcore devs, you guys are awesome. A lot of distros, for some reason, do not have Control-Alt-T hotkey to open up a terminal. Most do, but you know, I review a lot of distros on this channel where they don't bother binding Control-Alt-T to the terminal, and it is frustrating for those of us used to that key binding. So I really wanted to thank the Redcore devs for having that. Alright, so we opened up our terminal. This is, of course, the Qt terminal. And to install and remove software, you have to be root. So SU to move over to the root user. Give it your root password, and now Sisyphus. To do an upgrade, for example, to do a system upgrade would be sys, if I can type it, Sisyphus upgrade. And this may take a second. But I want to show you exactly what I mean by Sisyphus is an easier way to do these commands. I know there's not going to be anything to upgrade here, by the way. This ISO was just released late yesterday. I would be shocked if there was more than 2 or 3 packages to be updated. It's very possible there will be no packages that need to be updated. But anyway, so Sisyphus upgrade is that command I just ran. That would be the same as running this in emerge. Emerge space -- sync, and then running emerge space dash lowercase u, capital D, lowercase a, capital N space -- with -b deps equals y space and world. So that would be the normal emerge command that you would run in something like Gentoo. They have simplified this in Redcore. Sisyphus upgrade does all that for you. That is the beauty of the Sisyphus package manager. Alright, and there are packages that need to be upgraded, apparently. Would you like to merge these packages? Yes, why not? Just a couple of things. Let's see, cargo, rust, eSelect, HTTP parser. None of these seem like they're going to be big downloads. It's just some small programs and libraries. But once again, let's check out how fast the package manager is. See how long it takes to pull down these packages and then to emerge them. While we wait on that, I will go back over some of the Sisyphus commands. Alright, to install software as the super user, as the root user, you need to type Sisyphus install name of package. So to install Firefox, like I did in the Sisyphus GUI, to do that in the command line, you would Sisyphus install Firefox. Hit enter. It should install Firefox. Or Sisyphus install HTOP, or Sisyphus install Thunderbird for an email client, or whatever program you need to install. That is how you would install it with the Sisyphus command line utility. To uninstall, Sisyphus uninstall name of program. And then, of course, I've already showed you how to do the system upgrade. Those are the 3 things you would use Sisyphus for the most part, at least on a daily basis, is installing software, uninstalling software, and doing a system upgrade. And we are still waiting for these packages to be installed. I'll pause the video for a second while we wait. Okay, and it finished that system upgrade. So there were about 6 packages that need to be upgraded. Rust was the biggest one of the bunch. That's really what took the most time there. It took 2 or 3 minutes for all 6 of those to be upgraded. Alright, now that I'm back to the desktop here, I'm going to right click on the desktop. I'm going to choose Desktop Preferences. And Wallpapers. Let's see, Browse. And under User Share Backgrounds is where we would find all our wallpapers. And there are 6 folders in User Share Backgrounds. One is by Jolie, guessing this is one of the Redcore contributors that contributed these particular wallpapers. So let's check some of them out. It's a Dreamcatcher. That's very cool. Let's see. Kepler is another one by Jolie. Yeah, that's not bad. The Redcore logo and the branding is a little strange to me. That is, I don't know. Not really digging that. Let's go to the next folder by Melita. Check out some of Melita's pictures or artwork. Yeah, it's pictures. So this is nature photos. And that actually is a really nice photograph. Whoever Melita is has some skill with the camera. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, really nice stuff here. I'm just going to pick one more, check it out. Alright, let's go to the next folder. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead. We're going to go to Redcore Community. Let's do Redcore 0.ping. I think that's the default one. Yeah, that is the default wallpaper. Let's see, we have a nature category. After Rain. That's the name of this one. That's not bad. Let's skip ahead to something. How about Tree 1? I could play with wallpapers all day, but it is great that they include so many really neat wallpapers out of the box. About Autumn. Oh yes, I like that. Really classy wallpaper there. Of course, it's not autumn, it's summer here. Maybe I can find something a little more summer appropriate. See, I'll try out the solitude.jpg. Let's see what solitude is. Well, that's a really nice picture of a caterpillar crawling on a branch or maybe a rock. Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. Of course, in this desktop preferences screen, we could also play with our icon size, label, fonts, spacing. Let's see, slideshow, under advanced, some window manager stuff. We could show menus provided by the window manager. What this does is enables open boxes right-click menu. So if I tick that on and hit apply, instead of that standard desktop right-click menu, now I have the open box right-click menu, because open box is our window manager here in the LXQt desktop environment, which you guys know I'm a big open box fan, but I'm going to tick that off for now. I'm just going to use LXQt's standard right-click desktop menu here. Also in the desktop or right-click desktop menu, you have some Samba network sharing right here in the menu. That is very cool. Okay. Let's see what theming options we have here. So I'm going to search for appearance. And okay, the LXQt appearance configuration. This is pretty cool. I think this changes the bottom panel, is what this particular appearance program does. So right now it's set to Redcore Nighttime, which is pretty neat. I don't mind those colors, but we have the option of ambience. Let's see. Yeah, that's not bad. That's kind of like the Ubuntu ambience theme that's default in Ubuntu. We have dark. Oh, I like that. That's got some transparency to it. That's really classy. We have frost. That's not bad. KDE Plasma. That is really nice for a silver and blue theme. I would run that, actually, if I wanted a light theme. I'm not sure if I want to go with a light theme. Redcore Daylight. Doesn't look bad for a light theme. And system. You know what? I think I'm going to go to the dark theme here. With that black transparent panel. That's not bad. Let's search for appearance again. Let's see. We need to change the GTK theme, or actually the Qt theme. Let's see, where do I need to go? Probably preferences. LXQt settings. Oh, customize look and feel. Okay, how about this? Let me open up a program so we can see the changes take effect. So I'm going to open up the file manager here. The PCman FM file manager. So the theme that is set by default is Redcore Nighttime. Can we change it to something else? Well, the only options are Raleigh, which is this old school, you know, like Windows 95 or Windows 98 kind of look. Not very attractive. Or Redcore Daylight. So we have the options of Redcore Daylight for a light theme or Redcore Nighttime for a dark theme. You know what, I'll stick with the dark theme for now. For icons, not a lot of options. We have the default GNOME Adwaita icon set, which is horrible. We have Material Design Blue. You know what, that's not a horrible looking icon set. We have Material Design Dark, which I believe is already set. Alright, we have Dark Red. That would look good maybe on a light theme, on a dark theme, not so hot. Dark Yellow actually would work really nice with a dark theme. Then these black icons, again, these would work good with a light theme, but not with a dark. And we have the Oxygen icon set. You know what? I'm going to go back to Let's see, dark. Yep. We'll go back to the dark set. Just the white icons. They work well for what we're doing with a black panel and the kind of black theme. All right. And, you know, that is an initial installation and first look of Redcore 1806. What are my thoughts, you know, having looked at it, you know, for this past half hour or so? Love it. I've been impressed with Redcore Linux since the very first time I looked at it on the channel. For a Gentoo-based distribution, the install process is very streamlined and very fast. If you're wanting to check out Gentoo, a 100% fully compatible Gentoo-based Linux distribution, there isn't an easier install to go through than the Redcore Linux install as far as a Gentoo-based distro. Very, very easy install process. The LXQt desktop environment, admittedly, it's not for everybody. It's light, it's fast. I love it for that reason, but it's also kind of minimal. It's not the most full-featured desktop environment out there, and for that reason, the Redcore team with this release has packaged KDE 5.12, KDE Plasma 5.12 as an alternative. If you don't want to live in the LXQt desktop environment, you can install Plasma 5.12. It is a much more robust, full-featured desktop environment. Of course, it's going to be a little heavier, a little harder as far as system resources. It's going to use more CPU and RAM. But that's great that they offer that as an option. I certainly don't hate them for offering more options. Hopefully, down the road, there will be more options than just LXQt and KDE Plasma, although it seems like the project is mostly focused on Qt applications and Qt desktop environments such as LXQt, KDE Plasma. I don't know if we'll ever see something like GNOME or XFCE or anything like that down the road. It's a small development team behind Redcore. It is not, you know, some big, gigantic project. Certainly, it's not like Ubuntu or Fedora or anything like that. So it's a small project. So I certainly don't mind them focusing, you know, most of their attention on something like LXQt. I think that is a great niche that needs to be filled. I'm really excited about where the LXQt desktop environment is going. It's not quite mature yet. I mean, it's still, I won't say it's beta software, but LXQt is still isn't as mature as the old LXDE desktop environment, but it's getting there fast. All in all, though, Redcore Linux 1806, I give it an A. Before I go, I want to give a special thanks to my patrons, all my Patreon supporters. David, Carlos, Nick, Daniel, Brian, Leor, AK, Ron, Keith, Dan, Michael, Tony, Bruno, David, Mike, Silvio, Omar, Mark, Mr. Neely, Pops, John, Carl, Greg, Rob, Matt, Christian, Tiedemann, Stephen Z, Eduardo, Alex, Jake, Benjamin, Stephen B, Marcus, Interceptor, Tubella, Humade, Paul, Second Paul, Chuck, Ben, John, Swami, Mr. Smarty Pants, Dan. You guys rock. You guys help make this show possible. Peace.